Hello, I'm Zach McKenzie with OutSmart magazine, and I'd like to welcome you to the first edition of On the Cover, a virtual interview series with the cover star of our latest issue. To honor Women's History Month, our March 2021 cover story spotlights Houston-based fighter and MMA world champion, Jessica Aguilar. Jessica has fought her way to 20 victories around the globe, including 3 successful World Series of Fighting title bouts. The former strawweight world champion is known just as much for her classic battles in the cage as she is for being a trailblazer for LGBTQ fighters in MMA. Jessica, how's it going?
Nice, Zach. Great intro. All is well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Awesome. Good to see you too.
Yeah, we were able to chat over the phone to kind of work on this article before, and you had mentioned that you spent the last 15 years in Florida and you're back in Houston where you grew up. How is it being back?
Well, it's cold now. This weather. I'm still getting used to it. This is my first winter in over 15 years. So it's fun. I just got back from training my strength and conditioning where I train at DST at Houston Christian High School. So, being here in Houston, I've kind of just trying to get my routine here of training. Back in Florida, in South Florida, my training camp used to be the gym where I used to train. I trained at American Top Team. I started the female team there. And it was all in one. So all my training was in that gym. And here in Houston, I have to drive to several locations to train. So I'm kind of getting used to that, but I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, people watching this won't realize, but we're filming this kind of early in the morning, and you're coming from having already trained this morning. And so is that kind of what your schedule looks like, your fitness routine? Is it, you say all day, is it you're hopping from one place to the next all day?
So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, every day it's different. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do my conditioning either at 7 or 6:30. Mondays and Wednesdays, I do 7. Fridays, I do a 6:30. And that's at DST. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're striking and jujitsu. And that's in downtown. And sometimes when I spar, I go down to Katy. It's a packed schedule, but I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And, it just, it's my passion. This is what I've been doing for 15 years. And, even before I started MMA, I was an athlete. This was my play. This is my play. So I enjoy every minute of it. I'm just honored that, that I have the opportunity to do that. And then now I can share my skills with other people.
Yeah. Our conversation and you talking about your history in sports, it's not surprising to me to hear about this discipline. So I'm not surprised, but also all that, I'm exhausted. You talk about how the pandemic has shifted kind of like your training schedule to being like all day. That's kind of what you're doing. How has it impacted your fight schedule? Because as we mentioned at the intro, you've got all these different title wins. Do you have anything on the calendar coming up? What's the world of MMA looking like coming out of this pandemic eventually?
So for the pandemic, things kind of slowed down, venues and obviously closed down, everything kind of shut down for a little bit. But I do have something scheduled, hopefully March 27th. At the opponent and the location is still to be determined, but I'll have more news for you soon. So I'm preparing for that. I usually train for my camps are usually run about 2 months, so 8 weeks. So we're getting started now. And MMA, there's no like off season. So you just have to be ready for when they call and they give you an opportunity. So, I'm being careful. I get tested every week. Our trainings are limited. So we're very careful.
And so obviously this is an interview for OutSmart. And
right.
You won Female Gay Athlete of the Year in 2014 at the GLAAD Awards. What does being an LGBTQ athlete mean to you? You told me about what that moment kind of meant, but even just like from 2014 to now, what does that mean?
That was one of the best days of my life, standing in stage and representing, our flag, the LGBT flag, just, representing who I am, just being accepted for who I am and how I choose to live my life. pretty amazing. It was a pretty amazing memory, and I'll always have that with me. So, I'll keep representing our flag as much as possible. I'll keep advocating for us. So, it's an honor for me to represent the LGBT community.
Awesome. You're such a role model, and it's so good to
Thank
have
you.
somebody like
Thank you.
like, carrying that flag.
Thanks so much.
And so our last question, we've talked a lot about MMA, we've talked about boxing. The article features a lot of ins and outs about how you got to that. But you're here in Houston. When you're not boxing, when you're not training, when you're not doing MMA, what are you doing for fun?
For fun, eating, dining. I love good food. Here in Houston, I love to go to Real. It's a buddy's restaurant, and if you haven't checked it out, you got to check it out. It's amazing. And then I go to also Taqueria del Sol. So I love food. I also love like making drinks, cocktails, spending time with my dog, and if I can, I travel, and I love to go for hikes and nature. I love nature. So that's my fun. I just like to stay active, and I love adventures. I also like being here in Houston, I'm still kind of getting acclimated, and but I'm trying to start doing like female self-defense. So even for schools, for daughter and mommies and stuff like that, I love doing that. I love giving back to the community. It's in a part of me. It's something that while I was growing up, I also had people help me, me and my family. So it's now it's my turn to give back. So I love doing that as well, and that's fun for me. So yeah, that's another of my my fun hobbies, I'd say.
And another way to keep you busy and active,
Right.
training in a way. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy training schedule to talk with us. And don't forget, everyone, to pick up the March issue of OutSmart Magazine around town and on newsstands now, and on our website at outsmartmagazine.com.